How's it going, everybody? Some nice shaky green here. Don't know exactly what it was. It was actually just a bottom branch I clipped off of one of my things. I licked it, I turned it into a clone, and it actually came out pretty decent. Didn't really give it much nutrients, didn't give it much care, just kind of stuck it into some good soil and let it water. That's all I did. I didn't even give it extra water. I just let it water on its own. Had a little thing that just little tube that just watered it automatically. Came out pretty decent. Kind of airy, kind of your typical outdoor grow. It's all dried out, feeling and airy looking, but I really enjoy it. It's pot. So, anyways, looking over the stories today on High Times and everywhere else, I see the story about Montana's actually trying to stop their medical marijuana programs. Basically, they are literally in their fifth year of fighting to severely restrict how medical marijuana is grown and distributed in their state. Basically, it started in 2011 when they started making laws to ban commercial growing and sales of medical marijuana and limit the providers to a maximum of three patients. Well, if you're not letting them really get the stuff and grow the stuff and you're only allowing them three patients, you're not giving much of an industry. I mean, you're telling a bunch of people that, yeah, you can grow, but we're going to bust you for it if we catch you. But you are allowed to grow and have three patients. So far, I'm kind of confused of what Montana's kind of doing here. One person actually reported on the thing that it seems like they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle. I'm sorry to say, but this is one genie that is not here to grant you wishes, but just to get you high. Basically, there's also another band that they're targeting. That they're all these bands are under fighting and there's groups that are trying to fight against these different bands. The bands are actually being put there by the attorney general, their attorney general and stuff like that. They have another one that actually blocks the medical marijuana advertisement and automatic review of doctors who recommend marijuana. So if you're a doctor who recommends marijuana, you basically lose your license. There will be no review for you. There will be nothing. You will not become a doctor next year when your time comes up. What does that mean? That means there will be less and less doctors out there in Montana giving out recommendations for patients to use medical marijuana. With no advertisement, of course, you can't find these doctors who are out there, who don't care, who says bring it, because they can't advertise. Well, this is one of the ugly sides of prohibition. You have government officials who are being paid to do crooked, dirty, underhanded things, while the rest of us who are patients suffer. Basically, I mean, you got patients who are very ill who do literally depend on this stuff. I mean, they need, and they want this stuff in order for them to go about their day, in order for them to actually just survive and do what they do on a normal basis, cook themselves food and live for themselves. They don't have the strength to start up hydroponics in their closet to grow their own or start growing stuff outdoors. They don't have the strength to do stuff that some of us can do. It does take quite a bit of manual labor to grow marijuana. It's called growing. It's a plant. It takes skills. You have to actually know how to grow something in order to grow marijuana. Let's just say if you grow tomatoes, beef tomatoes, and they come out this big, it's really not that big, the size of your chin. Remember, beef tomatoes are the big ones. But they come out real small, chances are if you're going to try to grow marijuana, your marijuana is going to come out the same. Whatever you're doing wrong to your tomatoes, you're going to do wrong to your marijuana. Trust me, it takes a lot of skill and knowledge in growing in order to get things to grow. It doesn't matter if it's a herbal plant or a fruit plant or a vegetable plant. But basically, it's strange that they're doing this now. We're in 2015 going into 2016, and Montana is just trying to reverse all their voter decisions. Montana voters actually legalized in 2004, but the industry there didn't really explode until 2009 when a federal memo suggested that prosecuting marijuana cases would not be priority. So they hear it's okay to, process marijuana and sell marijuana because we're not really going to prosecute. It's not going to be a big deal to us. So it became a huge explosion in 2009. That 2009 actually led to the 2011 laws that started banning everything. And it just kept going from there. Basically, what happened is from 2009 to 2011, they had a report of over 30,000 people out of 1 million people who used marijuana. These people reported, yes, we smoke. Over 30,000 people out of 1 million. It's a lot of people smoking. I mean, granted, it's not like you're gonna walk down the street and run into a pothead every few feet. Probably about 1 out of 10 people. 1 out of 10 to 12 people smoke marijuana. Still quite a big number. Basically, in the end, these new laws and bans that are coming out, they're basically going to hurt the patients physically, hurt them mentally, and even hurt their rights as patients to medicate. I have a right to medicate the way I wish to medicate. I don't want pharmaceuticals because pharmaceuticals, I have found, hurt me. They hurt my liver, they hurt my stomach, they hurt my head, they make me think differently than I wish to think. That's what pharmaceuticals have done to me. That's me, personally. I don't know about you guys, but ever since I stopped taking pills, my whole life has changed. I like this stuff. Here's everything that I feel is wrong with me, mentally and physically. It just makes me feel good. Is that bad? I don't overdose. I haven't died on it. I've been smoking it since I was 14. A lot of people will argue, well, when you started when you were 14, you weren't dependent on it. You became dependent on it because you were smoking it back then. No, actually, just over the years, normal thing. I mean, I've gone through phases. Everybody goes through phases throughout their lives where they quit for a few years and they do this and they do that. And they try to move on with their life, but eventually they find themselves going right back to cannabis. Not because they were addicted to it. I quit quite a few times. Hell, there were sometimes I just sat there and said, you know what, I'm going to quit just to see if I can. And I quit for 3 years. Was I addicted to it? No. I went back to it because at the time I started getting addicted to pills. I was smoking cigarettes super heavy. I was, in a very unhealthy state in my life. So I found myself going back to cannabis to become healthy. But moving on from there, see, Montana was kind of negative. Colorado, on the other hand, has a better solution for everything. I love Colorado Solutions. Basically, right now, they're questioning marijuana scholarships. As of right now in Colorado, they have approved in a county, one county has approved the and it's the world's first marijuana funded college scholarship. College blah, 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 college scholarship. Sorry. My tongue's just twisting around in there. Maybe it's too much caffeine. Well, Pueblo County in Colorado, the voters actually approved of a 5% increase in the excise tax, and they estimate that the 5% increase, which takes it in the next 5 years, will increase it from 15% it's at now to 20%. They estimate that this will help earn $3.5 million a year by the year 2020. So what they want to do is take that money and make that money available for any senior who wishes to go to Pueblo County and attend one of their two colleges there in Pueblo County. Basically, they project that about 400 students will be able to receive $1,000 a year for each year that they attend the schools. It's a pretty good number of kids going to school for free. Not to mention, some of that money, if you don't use it all, ends up going back to you sometimes. I've gone to college before. I used to receive checks at the end of each semester. What was it? It was leftover money I didn't use for books, leftover money I didn't use for certain things. So that went for me to live. It's the way it works. And if you're currently getting scholarships or anything like that, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, I haven't seen any money, you might want to look into seeing if there was any leftover money. Now, there are those in the counties who are saying it's going to be very interesting to see these 17, 18 to 20-year-olds going to school funded by a substance they can't even use until they're 21. A lot of other people, I'm sorry to say, every time that these excuses come up about, well, marijuana and, the age limit and all this stuff, alcohol and tobacco. You always have to remind yourself, yeah, well, alcohol companies also give college. I can't even talk today. Okay, alcohol companies give college scholarships as well. That can't be used until you're 21. So what's the difference between them and marijuana businesses doing the same thing? It's all just good politics. Basically, at the moment, Pueblo County is actually responsible for about 20% of the state's recreational pot production. So they do have a huge number of pot production going on down there. And they're trying to get people to just go into the county, attend their schools, and eventually they're even talking about an initiative to open up an old Boeing warehouse. They want to spend over like some $4.2 million on this Boeing rocket warehouse to turn it into a hemp oil production. So they're looking into doing all kinds of things there in Pueblo County. Pueblo County sounds like the place to be. Basically, the two colleges that are actually doing this is Pueblo Community College or Denver State University in Pueblo. So basically, if you want to attend one of those two colleges, come by next year, you guys might actually be funded by marijuana just to go. So keep on smoking, Colorado. Get these kids in the get everybody into school. That's awesome. But I can't talk right now. My tongue is just. Ugh. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Remember, educate before you medicate. Y'all have a peaceful, positive, and productive day coming at you.